Well, now I want to turn to Steve Montgomery. Steve is a builder after my own heart. He builds old kits back from the 1960s. Ambroid comes to mind. Ambroid, one of 5,000 kits. Some of you may not remember those. I can remember building them. So, Steve, thank you so much for doing this. I'm really looking forward to this. Thank you. Is Steve not here?
I'm here. Can
Oh,
you hear me? Okay, can you hear me now, Jim?
yeah. Yep.
Okay. Welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Well, thanks for doing
Uh,
this. I can't thank you enough.
well, they it's something I enjoy doing. I started building, I'll tell you real quick. I started building when I was a kid. I built model ships and which we eventually took to the backyard and set on fire in gigantic, war. Filled them with tissue paper and threw matches at them. And then I got into building cars, the old AMT 3-in-1, stuff like that. Air Force, I built planes. And I came home, I got into model railroading probably about 40 years or more. And first two things I built was two Mantua engines, a Pacific and a 060. Really, that's got me into it. And then from there, I started, putting together plastic cars, and I wanted a different challenge. So I found Campbell kits, and I started building structures, and that led into building cars. I found Ambroid, um, the old Huff and Puff, oh, I got a list of them: Mainline, LaBelle, and I have built probably so far somewhere over 100 cars, different cars for myself, for other people, and consignment sales, stuff like that that people wanted. So it's something I do. One thing I try to do on my cars is always put brake gear on them. Can't see it normally, but it's just an added touch. And I think there should be some pictures. Is Phil on? Yeah, Phil. Yeah, I think you showed these last week and you were talking about them. And this is on the Carroll Valley Railroad is my line. It's we call it a subsidiary of the B&O, but they really don't want us to talk about that because they're kind of embarrassed by us. So we're kind of a little short line. These cars were all scratch built. And they use red ball sides. A friend of mine gave me the sides. He says, "Here, do what you want." Okay. So they're all out of wood. This is all HO scale. And I have the door um, stuff to put on them. I just haven't got to it yet. So, but one of these days I'll upgrade those to the with the door hardware. And then the next one is, I think, let's see. Yeah, there they are. Okay, these are Southern all-door boxcars. These are Ambroid. I built three of these all together, one for myself and two for friends. The gentleman, if you've heard of him, is senior moment myself too. Bob Lawson. If anybody's heard of Bob Lawson, he has the Southern Railroad, phenomenal modeler. Well, he worked for the Southern and he helped design these cars. So I ended up building them and gave him one. They didn't last real long because over on the end you had like a crank wheel that you would run the doors up, and the mechanism needed constant attention. So eventually got to where the dock workers would just run a fork truck into them and raise the door that way. So they weren't real successful, unfortunately, but they're a neat car. There again, they're all wood. And then Phil, the next one.
Are they scratch built? See?
No, those are kits. Those are Ambroid. The
Okay.
all door, those are the Ambroid. The three reefers were scratch.
Got
These are Ambroid cars.
got it.
Okay, that is an Android Boston and Maine snowplow that I built. Quite a challenge trying to get that the curvature in that wood. But That's our main snow plow for the 2 inches of snow that we get up here anymore. So I know you guys commented on the engines last week. The two engines on there are United brass 280s, a 280, and I believe the second one is a 210. But that's our big snow plow. That replaced the one that I scratch built. And maybe next week I'll show you a picture of that. But I just used a little tender, built myself a little snow plow, and then I've got this one there to show. And I said, oh yeah, we're going to upgrade that. Okay. And most of these, like this one, that is Hunter line um, stain on that too. I use a lot of Hunter line. And then the next one, okay, that is an Ambroid um, helium car. And if you build it by the directions, it's okay. But I actually made tubes for the whole thing. It's all tubes. And there's one at the bottom. You cannot see it. It has a double brake system on it, and I made it heavy. Um, if you notice up on top, the roof boards, I left them in a natural color because I've read that a lot of time after they painted the cars to begin with, they let the boards go natural because they could find the cracks and the breaks in them easier than when they were painted. At least that's what I read. So I do that to a lot of my cars. And I have built, let's see, I built two of those. And the next one, Phil, okay. These are Ambroid hogshead cars, tobacco hogsheads. And this is a group that I built that has four of them, had the plug doors. The top car is a roll-up door, like a garage door. If you guys are familiar with that, again, a friend of mine helped design those, and they work great. Well, they had to kind of tinker with them, but they were very long, like 89 foot long. And they replaced the roll-up doors with the plug doors. And they eventually found use down in Kentucky hauling hay and feed. But they were very long at the time. I have built a total of 7 of those. I told myself I'll never build another one because just in the roof alone, they have, when you see the top one does have a roof walk. When they redid them with the bulkhead doors, then they took the grab irons off the side so you couldn't get up there anyway. But there's 121 pieces of cut wood just in a roof alone on that car.
Jeez.
Yeah. And the underneath is fully detailed, and I have brake systems on all of them too. So probably won't. I have another kit in my cabinet. I doubt if I'm going to build it. I think 7's enough of those things, but they are nice. Okay, next one. Okay, that was built last year. That is my Ambroid pickle car. And again, it's with brake gear and all. Then I basically built it the way the kit that came in the kit. I didn't make too many changes on that one. In fact, I don't think I made any changes on that. I wish their lettering was a little bit better, but then, like you said, Jim, these cars are from the 60s.
Yep.
And that's what they were. All righty.
That was a fun car. I built one of those though.
Yeah, they're neat. That one is a beat. Let's see. Okay, the photograph car. That is I think you guys said last week maybe a Grant line. It's not. That's all wood. And that is a BC Models photography car from the 1800s that is based on a real car. I've seen pictures of the real car. And it's pretty simple build, really. There's not much to it. The sides are pre-printed and just throw it together. But it comes out real, it's a nice looking car. So I do have a guy with a camera and all that I can stage with that sometimes too, just to get a picture. So, okay, let's see, that is a Binkley. Yeah, Binkley kit. Remember those?
No.
They were old. That's a metal. The car itself is metal. I put new wood ends on top of it there because the ones that they had were not very good. So I redid that. It came with the load, and I just added the rings on top of it. It does lift out of there completely, and that's a nice car. I like what I built. I'm sorry, excuse me. Um, the guys around this area, one of them has Ed Swain had built a high and wide train. He's got about like 5 cars, specialized equipment. So I decided I wanted one. So I built my own high and heavy. So I have a bunch of these well cars and heavy duty flat cars, and we've got heavy loads on them and all. It's just something that we're doing around here. If one guy does it, the rest of us end up copying. So, and him and Bob are one of my, those guys are my mentors. So I learned from them. And the next one, okay, again, Bob helped design this, the first three-tiered auto car for the Southern Railroad. He helped design it. A fun story is he sat, they put him and another guy in Michigan. They put him up in that front car, which would be the black car, and they rode in that car down through Cincinnati, down through the Rat Hole Division to Chattanooga. And that's full of tunnels. And Bob told me every time they come to a tunnel, him and that guy'd hit the floor. Just really weird, but he got to do that. It's kind of a funny story. So I built that, but I put B&O on it because I didn't have any Southern decals at the time. So again, that's why I can't run that on my layout, but I've always wanted one of those. And again, that's all wood. That is a quality craft. I believe it is. Where's that rascal at? Let me see here. Pretty sure that's quality. Yeah, that's a quality craft car, all wood. And the next one, Phil. Okay, the one on the right is an Ambroid poultry car. And the one on the left is a scratch built poultry car that I built. I built the one on the right for a friend. I wanted one, so I built the one on the left. And one of these days I may go back and redo that or make a whole new one on it. But I think I copied it pretty closely. And again, the one is Ambroid, the one on the left is scratch built. Of course, all brake detail and all on them too. Okay. Well, that's me. Do we have more pictures or not? Maybe not.
That's it for tonight.
Was that it tonight? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
we'll catch the rest of them next week.
yeah, I'll send you some more. And I was going to tell Brian you were talking about that his snowplow.
Yeah.
I found a M. Dale, which was he was the owner of Red Ball. He started Red Ball, and I have his rotary snowplow. I actually put DCC in it. It runs.
I'd love to see that. You want to do it next week?
I can do that. I can show it to you real quick, but
No, we don't have time tonight, but how about
not
next
tonight.
week? Yeah, but how about next week?
That'd be fine. That'd be fine.
Fantastic.
Okay.